the new god of Perfectiformation, the new gods of Perfectiformation, the new god of Perfectiformation, the new goddess of Perfectiformation, the new goddesses of Perfectiformation, the new goddess of Perfectiformation, the old god of Perfectiformation, the old gods of Perfectiformation, the old god of Perfectiformation, the old goddess of Perfectiformation, the old goddesses of Perfectiformation, the old goddess of Perfectiformation, the greater god of Perfectiformation, the greater gods of Perfectiformation, the greater god of Perfectiformation, the greater goddess of Perfectiformation, the greater goddesses of Perfectiformation, the greater goddess of Perfectiformation, the lesser god of Perfectiformation, the lesser gods of Perfectiformation, the lesser god of Perfectiformation, the lesser goddess of Perfectiformation, the lesser goddesses of Perfectiformation, the lesser goddess of Perfectiformation, the higher god of Perfectiformation, the higher gods of Perfectiformation, the higher god of Perfectiformation, the higher goddess of Perfectiformation, the higher goddesses of Perfectiformation, the higher goddess of Perfectiformation, the lower god of Perfectiformation, the lower gods of Perfectiformation, the lower god of Perfectiformation, the lower goddess of Perfectiformation, the lower goddesses of Perfectiformation, the lower goddess of Perfectiformation, the greater spirit of Perfectiformation, the greater spirits of Perfectiformation, the greater spirit of Perfectiformation, the lesser spirit of Perfectiformation, the lesser spirits of Perfectiformation, the lesser spirit of Perfectiformation, the higher spirit of Perfectiformation, the higher spirits of Perfectiformation, the higher spirit of Perfectiformation, the lower spirit of Perfectiformation, the lower spirits of Perfectiformation, the lower spirit of Perfectiformation, the major god of Perfectiformation, the major gods of Perfectiformation, the major god of Perfectiformation, the major goddess of Perfectiformation, the major goddesses of Perfectiformation, the major goddess of Perfectiformation, the minor god of Perfectiformation, the minor gods of Perfectiformation, the minor god of Perfectiformation, the minor goddess of Perfectiformation, the minor goddesses of Perfectiformation, the minor goddess of Perfectiformation, the superior god of Perfectiformation, the superior gods of Perfectiformation, the superior god of Perfectiformation, the superior goddess of Perfectiformation, the superior goddesses of Perfectiformation, the superior goddess of Perfectiformation, the inferior god of Perfectiformation, the inferior gods of Perfectiformation, the inferior god of Perfectiformation, the inferior goddess of Perfectiformation, the inferior goddesses of Perfectiformation, the inferior goddess of Perfectiformation, the ancestor god of Perfectiformation, the ancestor gods of Perfectiformation, the ancestor god of Perfectiformation, the ancestor goddess of Perfectiformation, the ancestor goddesses of Perfectiformation, the ancestor goddess of Perfectiformation, the ascendant god of Perfectiformation, the ascendant gods of Perfectiformation, the ascendant god of Perfectiformation, the ascendant goddess of Perfectiformation, the ascendant goddesses of Perfectiformation, the ascendant goddess of Perfectiformation, the descendant god of Perfectiformation, the descendant gods of Perfectiformation, the descendant god of Perfectiformation, the descendant goddess of Perfectiformation, the descendant goddesses of Perfectiformation, the descendant goddess of Perfectiformation, the transcendent god of Perfectiformation, the transcendent gods of Perfectiformation, the transcendent god of Perfectiformation, the transcendent goddess of Perfectiformation, the transcendent goddesses of Perfectiformation, the transcendent goddess of Perfectiformation, the past god of Perfectiformation, the past gods of Perfectiformation, the past god of Perfectiformation, the past goddess of Perfectiformation, the past goddesses of Perfectiformation, the past goddess of Perfectiformation, the present god of Perfectiformation, the present gods of Perfectiformation, the present god of Perfectiformation, the present goddess of Perfectiformation, the present goddesses of Perfectiformation, the present goddess of Perfectiformation, the future god of Perfectiformation, the future gods of Perfectiformation, the future god of Perfectiformation, the future goddess of Perfectiformation, the future goddesses of Perfectiformation, the future goddess of Perfectiformation, the authentic god of Perfectiformation, the authentic gods of Perfectiformation, the authentic god of Perfectiformation, the authentic goddess of Perfectiformation, the authentic goddesses of Perfectiformation, the authentic goddess of Perfectiformation, the synthetic god of Perfectiformation, the synthetic gods of Perfectiformation, the synthetic god of Perfectiformation, the synthetic goddess of Perfectiformation, the synthetic goddesses of Perfectiformation, the synthetic goddess of Perfectiformation, the progressive god of Perfectiformation, the progressive gods of Perfectiformation, the progressive god of Perfectiformation, the progressive goddess of Perfectiformation, the progressive goddesses of Perfectiformation, the progressive goddess of Perfectiformation, the regressive god of Perfectiformation, the regressive gods of Perfectiformation, the regressive god of Perfectiformation, the regressive goddess of Perfectiformation, the regressive goddesses of Perfectiformation, the regressive goddess of Perfectiformation, the ordinary god of Perfectiformation, the ordinary gods of Perfectiformation, the ordinary god of Perfectiformation, the ordinary goddess of Perfectiformation, the ordinary goddesses of Perfectiformation, the ordinary goddess of Perfectiformation, the extraordinary god of Perfectiformation, the extraordinary gods of Perfectiformation, the extraordinary god of Perfectiformation, the extraordinary goddess of Perfectiformation, the extraordinary goddesses of Perfectiformation, the extraordinary goddess of Perfectiformation, the static god of Perfectiformation, the static gods of Perfectiformation, the static god of Perfectiformation, the static goddess of Perfectiformation, the static goddesses of Perfectiformation, the static goddess of Perfectiformation, the dynamic god of Perfectiformation, the dynamic gods of Perfectiformation, the dynamic god of Perfectiformation, the dynamic goddess of Perfectiformation, the dynamic goddesses of Perfectiformation, the dynamic goddess of Perfectiformation, the land god of Perfectiformation, the land gods of Perfectiformation, the land god of Perfectiformation, the land goddess of Perfectiformation, the land goddesses of Perfectiformation, the land goddess of Perfectiformation, the sea god of Perfectiformation, the sea gods of Perfectiformation, the sea god of Perfectiformation, the sea goddess of Perfectiformation, the sea goddesses of Perfectiformation, the sea goddess of Perfectiformation, the sky god of Perfectiformation, the sky gods of Perfectiformation, the sky god of Perfectiformation, the sky goddess of Perfectiformation, the sky goddesses of Perfectiformation, the sky goddess of Perfectiformation, the god of Perfectiformation, the gods of Perfectiformation, the god of Perfectiformation, the goddess of Perfectiformation, the goddesses of Perfectiformation, the goddess of Perfectiformation, the half god of Perfectiformation, the half gods of Perfectiformation, the half god of Perfectiformation, the half goddess of Perfectiformation, the half goddesses of Perfectiformation, the half goddess of Perfectiformation, the vessel of Perfectiformation, the vessels of Perfectiformation, the vessel of Perfectiformation, The name of Perfectiformation. The names of Perfectiformation. The name of Perfectiformation. The person of Perfectiformation. The persons of Perfectiformation. The person of Perfectiformation. The persona of Perfectiformation. The personas of Perfectiformation. The persona of Perfectiformation. The personage of Perfectiformation. The personages of Perfectiformation. The personage of Perfectiformation. The personality of Perfectiformation. The personalities of Perfectiformation. The personality of Perfectiformation. The personification of Perfectiformation. The personifications of Perfectiformation. The personification of Perfectiformation. The image of Perfectiformation. The images of Perfectiformation. The image of Perfectiformation. The imagination of Perfectiformation. The imaginations of Perfectiformation. The imagination of Perfectiformation. The belief of Perfectiformation. The beliefs of Perfectiformation. The belief of Perfectiformation. The thought of Perfectiformation. The thoughts of Perfectiformation. The thought of Perfectiformation. The word of Perfectiformation. The words of Perfectiformation. The word of Perfectiformation. The action of Perfectiformation. The actions of Perfectiformation. The action of Perfectiformation. The reaction of Perfectiformation. The reactions of Perfectiformation. The reaction of Perfectiformation. The feeling of Perfectiformation. The feelings of Perfectiformation. The feeling of Perfectiformation. The situation of Perfectiformation. The situations of Perfectiformation. The situation of Perfectiformation. The circumstance of Perfectiformation. The circumstances of Perfectiformation. The circumstance of Perfectiformation. The environment of Perfectiformation. The environments of Perfectiformation. The environment of Perfectiformation. The relationship of Perfectiformation. The relationships of Perfectiformation. The relationship of Perfectiformation. The number of Perfectiformation. The numbers of Perfectiformation. The number of Perfectiformation. The formula of Perfectiformation. The formulas of Perfectiformation. The formula of Perfectiformation. The equation of Perfectiformation. The equations of Perfectiformation. The equation of Perfectiformation. The theory of Perfectiformation. The theories of Perfectiformation. The theory of Perfectiformation. The symbol of Perfectiformation. The symbols of Perfectiformation. The symbol of Perfectiformation. The color of Perfectiformation. The colors of Perfectiformation. The color of Perfectiformation. The thing of Perfectiformation. The things of Perfectiformation. The thing of Perfectiformation. The way of Perfectiformation. The ways of Perfectiformation. The way of Perfectiformation. The place of Perfectiformation. The places of Perfectiformation. The place of Perfectiformation. The time of Perfectiformation. The times of Perfectiformation. The time of Perfectiformation. The event of Perfectiformation. The events of Perfectiformation. The event of Perfectiformation. The result of Perfectiformation. The results of Perfectiformation. The result of Perfectiformation. The crown of Perfectiformation. The crowns of Perfectiformation. The crown of Perfectiformation. The throne of Perfectiformation. The thrones of Perfectiformation. The throne of Perfectiformation. The Perfectiformation King. The Perfectiformation Kings. The Perfectiformation Kingdom. The Perfectiformation Kingdoms. The Perfectiformation King Subject. The Perfectiformation King Subjects. The Perfectiformation King's Dominion. The Perfectiformation King's Dominions. The Kingdom of Perfectiformation. The Kingdoms of Perfectiformation. The Kingdom of Perfectiformation. The Perfectiformation Queen. The Perfectiformation Queens. The Perfectiformation Queendom. The Perfectiformation queendoms. The Perfectiformation queen subject. The Perfectiformation queen subjects. The Perfectiformation queen's dominion. The Perfectiformation queen's dominions, the queendom of Perfectiformation. The queendoms of Perfectiformation. The queendom of Perfectiformation. The Perfectiformation prince. The Perfectiformation princes. The Perfectiformation princedom. The Perfectiformation princedoms. The Perfectiformation princes subject. The Perfectiformation princes subjects. The Perfectiformation princes dominion. The Perfectiformation princes dominions, the princedom of Perfectiformation. The princedoms of Perfectiformation. The princedom of Perfectiformation. The Perfectiformation princess. The Perfectiformation princesses. The Perfectiformation princessdom. The Perfectiformation princessdoms. The Perfectiformation princesses subject. The Perfectiformation princesses subjects. The Perfectiformation princesses dominion. The Perfectiformation princesses dominions, the princessdom of Perfectiformation. The princessdoms of Perfectiformation. The princessdom of Perfectiformation, the lord of Perfectiformation. The lords of Perfectiformation. The lord of Perfectiformation, the lordess of Perfectiformation. The lordesses of Perfectiformation. The lordess of Perfectiformation, the priest of Perfectiformation. The priests of Perfectiformation. The priest of Perfectiformation, the priestess of Perfectiformation. The priestesses of Perfectiformation. The priestess of Perfectiformation, the ritual of Perfectiformation. The rituals of Perfectiformation. The ritual of Perfectiformation, the shrine of Perfectiformation. The shrines of Perfectiformation. The shrine of Perfectiformation, the temple of Perfectiformation. The temples of Perfectiformation. The temple of Perfectiformation, the leader of Perfectiformation. The leaders of Perfectiformation. The leader of Perfectiformation, the follower of Perfectiformation. The followers of Perfectiformation. The follower of Perfectiformation, the natural substance of Perfectiformation. The natural substances of Perfectiformation. The natural substance of Perfectiformation, the supernatural substance of Perfectiformation. The supernatural substances of Perfectiformation. The supernatural substance of Perfectiformation, the temporal substance of Perfectiformation. The temporal substances of Perfectiformation. The temporal substance of Perfectiformation, the spiritual substance of Perfectiformation. The spiritual substances of Perfectiformation. The spiritual substance of Perfectiformation, the natural form of Perfectiformation. The natural forms of Perfectiformation. The natural form of Perfectiformation, the supernatural form of Perfectiformation. The supernatural forms of Perfectiformation. The supernatural form of Perfectiformation, the temporal form of Perfectiformation. The temporal forms of Perfectiformation. The temporal form of Perfectiformation, the spiritual form of Perfectiformation. The spiritual forms of Perfectiformation. The spiritual form of Perfectiformation, the age of Perfectiformation. The ages of Perfectiformation. The age of Perfectiformation, the era of Perfectiformation. The eras of Perfectiformation. The era of Perfectiformation, the awakener of Perfectiformation. The awakeners of Perfectiformation. The awakener of Perfectiformation, the awakening of Perfectiformation. The awakenings of Perfectiformation. The awakening of Perfectiformation, the realm of Perfectiformation. The realms of Perfectiformation. The realm of Perfectiformation, the dimension of Perfectiformation. The dimensions of Perfectiformation. The dimension of Perfectiformation, the zone of Perfectiformation. The zones of Perfectiformation. The zone of Perfectiformation, the frequency of perfectiformation, the frequencies of perfectiformation, the frequency of perfectiformation, the century of perfectiformation, the centuries of perfectiformation, the century of perfectiformation, the millennium of perfectiformation, the millenniums of perfectiformation, the millennium of perfectiformation, the purpose of perfectiformation, the purposes of perfectiformation, the purpose of perfectiformation, the meaning of perfectiformation, the meanings of perfectiformation, the meaning of perfectiformation, the culture of perfectiformation, the cultures of perfectiformation, the culture of perfectiformation, the demonstrator of perfectiformation, the demonstrators of perfectiformation, the demonstrator of perfectiformation, the demonstration of perfectiformation, the demonstrations of perfectiformation, the demonstration of perfectiformation, the manifester of perfectiformation, the manifestors of perfectiformation, the manifester of perfectiformation, the manifestation of perfectiformation, the manifestations of perfectiformation, the manifestation of perfectiformation, the presence of perfectiformation, the presences of perfectiformation, the presence of perfectiformation, the glow of perfectiformation, the glows of perfectiformation, the glow of perfectiformation, the goal of perfectiformation, the goals of perfectiformation, the goal of perfectiformation, the plan of perfectiformation, the plans of perfectiformation, the plan of perfectiformation, the book of perfectiformation, the books of perfectiformation, the book of perfectiformation, the philosopher of perfectiformation, the philosophers of perfectiformation, the philosopher of perfectiformation, the philosophy of perfectiformation, the philosophies of perfectiformation, the philosophy of perfectiformation, the releaser of perfectiformation, the releasers of perfectiformation, the releaser of perfectiformation, the release of perfectiformation, the releases of perfectiformation, the release of perfectiformation, the variable of perfectiformation, the variables of perfectiformation, the variable of perfectiformation, the cause of perfectiformation, the causes of perfectiformation, the cause of perfectiformation, the effect of perfectiformation, the effects of perfectiformation, the effect of perfectiformation, the journey of perfectiformation, the journeys of perfectiformation, the journey of perfectiformation, the emergence of perfectiformation, the emergences of perfectiformation, the emergence of perfectiformation, the source of perfectiformation, the sources of perfectiformation, the source of perfectiformation, the originator of perfectiformation, the originators of perfectiformation, the originator of perfectiformation, the origin of perfectiformation, the origins of perfectiformation, the origin of perfectiformation, the forefather of perfectiformation, the forefathers of perfectiformation, the forefather of perfectiformation, the foremother of perfectiformation, the foremothers of perfectiformation, the foremother of perfectiformation, the ancestor of perfectiformation, the ancestors of perfectiformation, the ancestor of perfectiformation, the descendant of perfectiformation, the descendants of perfectiformation, the descendant of perfectiformation, the lineage of perfectiformation, the lineages of perfectiformation, the lineage of perfectiformation, the heritage of perfectiformation, the heritages of perfectiformation, the heritage of perfectiformation, the heir of perfectiformation, the heirs of perfectiformation, the heir of perfectiformation, the co-heir of perfectiformation, the co-heirs of perfectiformation, the co-heir of perfectiformation, the joint heir of perfectiformation, the joint heirs of perfectiformation, the joint heir of perfectiformation, the dynasty of perfectiformation, The dynasties of Perfectiformation. The dynasty of Perfectiformation. The force of Perfectiformation. The forces of Perfectiformation. The force of Perfectiformation. The law of Perfectiformation. The laws of Perfectiformation. The law of Perfectiformation. The pact of Perfectiformation. The pacts of Perfectiformation. The pact of Perfectiformation. The game of Perfectiformation. The games of Perfectiformation. The game of Perfectiformation. The mask of Perfectiformation. The masks of Perfectiformation. The mask of Perfectiformation. The armor of Perfectiformation. The armors of Perfectiformation. The armor of Perfectiformation. The sword of Perfectiformation. The swords of Perfectiformation. The sword of Perfectiformation. The shield of Perfectiformation. The shields of Perfectiformation. The shield of Perfectiformation. The force shield of Perfectiformation. The force shields of Perfectiformation. The force shield of Perfectiformation. The armored force shield of Perfectiformation. The armored force shields of Perfectiformation. The armored force shield of Perfectiformation. The champion of Perfectiformation. The champions of Perfectiformation. The champion of Perfectiformation. The guardian of Perfectiformation. The guardians of Perfectiformation. The guardian of Perfectiformation. The defender of Perfectiformation. The defenders of Perfectiformation. The defender of Perfectiformation. The protector of Perfectiformation. The protectors of Perfectiformation. The protector of Perfectiformation. The chant of Perfectiformation. The chants of Perfectiformation. The chant of Perfectiformation. The shape of Perfectiformation. The shapes of Perfectiformation. The shape of Perfectiformation. The cube of Perfectiformation. The cubes of Perfectiformation. The cube of Perfectiformation. The cuboid of Perfectiformation. The cuboids of Perfectiformation. The cuboid of Perfectiformation. The sphere of Perfectiformation. The spheres of Perfectiformation. The sphere of Perfectiformation. The spheroid of Perfectiformation. The spheroids of Perfectiformation. The spheroid of Perfectiformation. The prism of Perfectiformation. The prisms of Perfectiformation. The prism of Perfectiformation. The pyramid of Perfectiformation. The pyramids of Perfectiformation. The pyramid of Perfectiformation. The cylinder of Perfectiformation. The cylinders of Perfectiformation. The cylinder of Perfectiformation. The cone of Perfectiformation. The cones of Perfectiformation. The cone of Perfectiformation. The triangle of Perfectiformation. The triangles of Perfectiformation. The triangle of Perfectiformation. The circle of Perfectiformation. The circles of Perfectiformation. The circle of Perfectiformation. The semicircle of Perfectiformation. The semicircles of Perfectiformation. The semicircle of Perfectiformation. The square of Perfectiformation. The squares of Perfectiformation. The square of Perfectiformation. The rectangle of Perfectiformation. The rectangles of Perfectiformation. The rectangle of Perfectiformation. The parallelogram of Perfectiformation. The parallelograms of Perfectiformation. The parallelogram of Perfectiformation. The rhombus of Perfectiformation. The rhombuses of Perfectiformation. The rhombus of Perfectiformation. The trapezoid of Perfectiformation. The trapezoids of Perfectiformation. The trapezoid of Perfectiformation. The polygon of Perfectiformation. The polygons of Perfectiformation. The polygon of Perfectiformation. The pentagon of Perfectiformation. The pentagons of Perfectiformation. The pentagon of Perfectiformation. The hexagon of Perfectiformation. The hexagons of Perfectiformation. The hexagon of Perfectiformation. The septagon of Perfectiformation. The septagons of Perfectiformation. the septagon of Perfectiformation, the octagon of Perfectiformation, the octagons of Perfectiformation, the octagon of Perfectiformation, the nonagon of Perfectiformation, the nonagons of Perfectiformation, the nonagon of Perfectiformation, the decagon of Perfectiformation, the decagons of Perfectiformation, the decagon of Perfectiformation, the evolution of Perfectiformation, the evolutions of Perfectiformation, the evolution of Perfectiformation, the revolution of Perfectiformation, the revolutions of Perfectiformation, the revolution of Perfectiformation, the elemental art of Perfectiformation, the elemental arts of Perfectiformation, the elemental art of Perfectiformation, the elemental science of Perfectiformation, the elemental sciences of Perfectiformation, the elemental science of Perfectiformation, the elemental principle of Perfectiformation, the elemental principles of Perfectiformation, the elemental principle of Perfectiformation, the elemental technology of Perfectiformation, the elemental technologies of Perfectiformation, the elemental technology of Perfectiformation, the low elemental art of Perfectiformation, the low elemental arts of Perfectiformation, the low elemental art of Perfectiformation, the low elemental science of Perfectiformation, the low elemental sciences of Perfectiformation, the low elemental science of Perfectiformation, the low elemental principle of Perfectiformation, the low elemental principles of Perfectiformation, the low elemental principle of Perfectiformation, the low elemental technology of Perfectiformation, the low elemental technologies of Perfectiformation, the low elemental technology of Perfectiformation, the high elemental art of Perfectiformation, the high elemental arts of Perfectiformation, the high elemental art of Perfectiformation, the high elemental science of Perfectiformation, the high elemental sciences of Perfectiformation, the high elemental science of Perfectiformation, the high elemental principle of Perfectiformation, the high elemental principles of Perfectiformation, the high elemental principle of Perfectiformation, the high elemental technology of Perfectiformation, the high elemental technologies of Perfectiformation, the high elemental technology of Perfectiformation, the agent of Perfectiformation, the agents of Perfectiformation, the agent of Perfectiformation, the agency of Perfectiformation, the agencies of Perfectiformation, the agency of Perfectiformation, the amplifier of Perfectiformation, the amplifiers of Perfectiformation, the amplifier of Perfectiformation, the amplification of Perfectiformation, the amplifications of Perfectiformation, the amplification of Perfectiformation, the enhancer of Perfectiformation, the enhancers of Perfectiformation, the enhancer of Perfectiformation, the enhancement of Perfectiformation, the enhancements of Perfectiformation, the enhancement of Perfectiformation, the magnifier of Perfectiformation, the magnifiers of Perfectiformation, the magnifier of Perfectiformation, the magnification of Perfectiformation, the magnifications of Perfectiformation, the magnification of Perfectiformation, the influencer of Perfectiformation, the influencers of Perfectiformation, the influencer of Perfectiformation, the influence of Perfectiformation, the influences of Perfectiformation, the influence of Perfectiformation, the emanator of Perfectiformation, the emanators of Perfectiformation, the emanator of Perfectiformation, the emanation of Perfectiformation, the emanations of Perfectiformation, the emanation of Perfectiformation, the converger of Perfectiformation, the convergers of Perfectiformation, the converger of Perfectiformation, the convergence of Perfectiformation, the convergences of Perfectiformation, the convergence of Perfectiformation, The aura of Perfectiformation. The auras of Perfectiformation. The aura of Perfectiformation. The impression of Perfectiformation. The impressions of Perfectiformation. The impression of Perfectiformation. The intelligence of Perfectiformation. The intelligences of Perfectiformation. The intelligence of Perfectiformation. The sophistication of Perfectiformation. The sophistications of Perfectiformation. The sophistication of Perfectiformation. The genius of Perfectiformation. The geniuses of Perfectiformation. The genius of Perfectiformation. The polymath of Perfectiformation. The polymaths of Perfectiformation. The polymath of Perfectiformation. The psychic of Perfectiformation. The psychics of Perfectiformation. The psychic of Perfectiformation. The knowledge of Perfectiformation. The knowledges of Perfectiformation. The knowledge of Perfectiformation. The understanding of Perfectiformation. The understandings of Perfectiformation. The understanding of Perfectiformation. The wisdom of Perfectiformation. The wisdoms of Perfectiformation. The wisdom of Perfectiformation. The secret of Perfectiformation. The secrets of Perfectiformation. The secret of Perfectiformation. The mystery of Perfectiformation. The mysteries of Perfectiformation. The mystery of Perfectiformation. The revelation of Perfectiformation. The revelations of Perfectiformation. The revelation of Perfectiformation. The tactic of Perfectiformation. The tactics of Perfectiformation. The tactic of Perfectiformation. The strategy of Perfectiformation. The strategies of Perfectiformation. The strategy of Perfectiformation. The strength of Perfectiformation. The strengths of Perfectiformation. The strength of Perfectiformation. The might of Perfectiformation. The might of Perfectiformation. The might of Perfectiformation. The power of Perfectiformation. The powers of Perfectiformation. The power of Perfectiformation. The authority of Perfectiformation. The authorities of Perfectiformation. The authority of Perfectiformation. The dominion of Perfectiformation. The dominions of Perfectiformation. The dominion of Perfectiformation. The rhythm of Perfectiformation. The rhythms of Perfectiformation. The rhythm of Perfectiformation. The melody of Perfectiformation. The melodies of Perfectiformation. The melody of Perfectiformation. The music of Perfectiformation. The musics of Perfectiformation. The music of Perfectiformation. The lyric of Perfectiformation. The lyrics of Perfectiformation. The lyric of Perfectiformation. The song of Perfectiformation. The songs of Perfectiformation. The song of Perfectiformation. The dance of Perfectiformation. The dances of Perfectiformation. The dance of Perfectiformation. The spirit of Perfectiformation. The spirits of Perfectiformation. The spirit of Perfectiformation. The soul of Perfectiformation. The souls of Perfectiformation. The soul of Perfectiformation. The body of Perfectiformation. The bodies of Perfectiformation. The body of Perfectiformation. The mark of Perfectiformation. The marks of Perfectiformation. The mark of Perfectiformation. The promise of Perfectiformation. The promises of Perfectiformation. The promise of Perfectiformation. The visionary of Perfectiformation. The visionaries of Perfectiformation. The visionary of Perfectiformation. The vision of Perfectiformation. The visions of Perfectiformation. The vision of Perfectiformation. The picture of Perfectiformation. The pictures of Perfectiformation. The picture of Perfectiformation. The sound of Perfectiformation. The sounds of Perfectiformation. The sound of Perfectiformation. The tongue of Perfectiformation. The tongues of Perfectiformation. The tongue of Perfectiformation. The language of Perfectiformation. The languages of Perfectiformation. The language of Perfectiformation. The communication of Perfectiformation. The communications of Perfectiformation. The communication of Perfectiformation. The people of Perfectiformation. The peoples of Perfectiformation. The people of Perfectiformation. The society of Perfectiformation. The societies of Perfectiformation. The society of Perfectiformation. The fortress of Perfectiformation. The fortresses of Perfectiformation. The fortress of Perfectiformation. The government of Perfectiformation. The governments of Perfectiformation. The government of Perfectiformation. The city of Perfectiformation. The cities of Perfectiformation. The city of Perfectiformation. The nation of Perfectiformation. The nations of Perfectiformation. The nation of Perfectiformation. The civilization of Perfectiformation. The civilizations of Perfectiformation. The civilization of Perfectiformation. The world of Perfectiformation. The worlds of Perfectiformation. The world of Perfectiformation.